And we are actually, the worksheet says 1.5a. This is actually in a different section. Okay. So I'm going to write exactly what it says so we know what we can Google or whatnot. So this is solving equations which is what we've been doing with variables on both sides. All right. This won't help you Google anything, but I call this max level. Okay, this is as hard as it's going to get for a long time. We're going to have weird stuff, and we're going to have stuff that might be a little different. But as far as solving algebra, this is as hard as it's going to get for a long time. Okay, and I'm not going to start with the hardest problem. I'm going to start with an easier problem. But let's see if we can get this one done here. Okay. So what makes this difficult is we have a lot of variables, okay? And so we're going to do the same thing. We're not adding an extra step. So we're still going to simplify. Okay, we're still going to simplify. And then we're still going to do the add, subtract step. But I'm going to be a little more clear in the add, subtract step. So we're going to add, subtract. Let me do a different color. We're going to add, subtract variables. And then we're going to add, that is not a very good add sign, is it? Then we're going to add, subtract constant. Okay, so we're going to add, subtract variables, then we're going to add, subtract constants. All right, so in this case, we do have to simplify first. Okay, and when you simplify on only one side of the equal sign. Okay, so 3x plus 2x, I'm going to add that and be 5x. I can't add the 4x to it because it's on the opposite side of the equal sign. So simplification happens on one side. Let's see, this side is as simple as it gets. Okay, now we need to solve. So I did simplification, now add, subtract step. I'm going to add, subtract the variables. So basically, I want to destroy one of the variables on one of the sides. Usually, I destroy the right side, so my variable ends up on the left side only. So how do you destroy this? With the add, subtract step, you subtract 4x. And I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. 4 minus 4 cancels. 5 minus 4 equals. And now I'm done with my answer. Let's bring that 5 on down. So that probably is as easy as I could make one with multiple variables. But I agree that it has just gone up a level. I am almost 100% sure that you probably didn't do this last year. This is an Algebra 1 skill. And this is useful, not just for Algebra 1, and this is what I need you to know that's important. I know that in geometry, you're going to have one of these problems, but it's going to have a shape around it, where you're going to have to take a shape and create this problem. So we are working towards your future. We're getting ready for your future. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to a harder problem, and this is about as hard as it's going to get. I mean, this is as hard as it's going to get, not about. Yeah, I'm going to write it down so I get it written down correctly, then I'll move it up. And then you'll be able to see and and I'm going to have you double check me because it's been one of those days. Look at 11 on your worksheet. Does it match? Because I want this to work out. It matches?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to work this like every other problem we've been doing. Yes, they're difficult. It's extra difficult to do in your head because this one has a P there, and a P there, right? Okay, I like to highlight a wall so I don't accidentally cross that wall. This side, is it as simple as it can get before solving?
Yes.
This side I can do some work. Let's do the distributive property first and see if yours matches mine. Check and see if I'm right. That's a negative 8p plus 3 plus 24p. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, distributive property done. Combine like terms. Those are like. I believe 24 and a negative 8. You add them together, you're going to get a 16. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to bring this down. Okay, and I'm showing you something. I did a terrible job bringing it down. So I'm going to rewrite this because I've just messed up that line. That's why you're supposed to work in pencil, but pencil doesn't show up very good on the video, so I do it in different colored pens. I probably should switch to pencil, but I'm concerned about how it shows up. All right, so now I got both sides simplified. Now we got to solve. Okay, I want to move all the p's over here. This is the add subtract step again. And I'm basically going to split it up. So minus 16p, minus 16p. That is going to equal negative 37 minus 10p equals 3. Got that from here, right? Came down. Now I'm going, and of course I like to do this because it makes me happy. That's canceled. Now I'm going to try to get rid of this. So the opposite of this is this. That's going to cancel. I get negative 10p equals 40. And I divide by negative 10, divide by negative 10, and we've now completed basically a max level problem. Okay, does it take a lot of writing? Yeah, it does. Okay. Is it something you can do in your head easily?
Yes.
Some people might be able to do it. I know I can do it. I just know it hurts. It's easier for me to write it down. I'd rather write it down than keep track of all the little things that happen. All right. I'm not going to turn off the video. I want you to go ahead and start working on number 12. I don't care where you are in your homework assignment. Start working on number 12. I want you to complete it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work really slowly. So if you're watching the video, you might want to put it on ×2 or fast forward. But I want you to work, I'm going to work slowly behind you to see if you can get it right. And I'm going to make sure that I write it down correctly and don't miss those little negatives that mess up everything about the problem. Okay? Now technically we've been working towards this since the beginning of school. So we're 3 weeks into school, and so we're finally up to this level. And really, we've only been working one kind of problem, right? Pretty much. This is where I'm going to start. Start there. Okay, I can't. That's ugly. I got to color it better. I'm doomed to failure if I keep trying to even it up. Okay. So you don't have to skip lines. I'm skipping lines for me. If I were you at your seat, I'd do it every line, but. Okay. So like I said, this is the first line. I just did the D prop, the distributive property. Okay. Now I need to combo terms. I believe that this guy and this guy over here are the same. So order doesn't really matter, but I can do this. Okay, now I'm going to bring this one down. I didn't write it the whole time because I wasn't really messing with the right side at all. I was only messing with the left side. I was only simplifying the left side. The right side was already simplified, so that was okay. So now it's time to solve. So these first two steps are simplified. Now it's time to solve. So we're going to do the add subtract step here. And I'm going to show you a different way to do this. For some of you, you need it split. Some of you would like to do this all in one line. So this is the add subtract step. I'm going to do the opposite to destroy this forever. And come over here and do this. Okay, now I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to scoot it over a little bit. Minus 5. What is that? Negative 6. Is that right? And minus 5. Okay. One of the things I like about the algebra and the people that like math a lot, what they like about this is we start really complex, and it's kind of like a little pyramid that we're funneling all this stuff in, and eventually we'll just get two things, right? We'll get k equals something. And so it gets simpler and simpler each step we do. Now I'm going to add 5. That cancels. I get negative k, 6k equals, is that 0? Yeah. Divide by negative 6, k equals 0. That is a lot of work to get 0 for an answer. But again, on the test, especially these tests that we're taking, if you mess something up like here, and that's going to give you a wrong answer, right? I am able to a lot of times look at what you've been doing and give you some credit. Because I am really more worried about right now is getting all this stuff. Because eventually, once you get all this stuff right, you'll always get this right. And I'm more worried about next year also when you are expected to be able to do this without a lot of help. I'm going to skip 13, and I'm going to give you some chances to do this. And then I'm going to go to 14 in a little bit. I'm going to turn off the video because no one wants to wait that long.